Hey guys, it's Dave with My Freedom Smokes. Today I'm here to talk to you about a sample product we got in from Fumytech. It's the Fumytech Rose MTL. It is a mouth-to-lung style RTA. This is for you people who like the tighter draws. You want the mouth-to-lung vaping experience similar to what you got with a cigarette instead of the direct lungs on some of the higher powered RTAs and sub-ohm tanks and stuff like that. This one's for you guys here. It's a 24 millimeter RTA and holds 3.5 mils of liquid, so it's actually a pretty sizable RTA, especially for mouth to lung. Being that big of a capacity, it's really going to hold some liquid for a while because you're really not putting a whole lot of power to the coils. I'm using one of the coils that came in the kit. I've installed it myself. I'm only running at 15 watts, and I'm just getting battery life, and liquid is just lasting for a long time in this guy. Like I said, it's 15 watts. The coil's reading 1.263. It goes all the way up to the thousandths on this Smoke Veneno. But yeah, it's been a pretty cool little RTA. I can kind of take it apart and show you guys what's going on with it. The airflow kind of confused me on it. You know, a lot of times your airflow, it's got airflow on either side. When you adjust it, it closes off the exact same on both sides. This one has 5 little pinholes on one side and 3 on the other. And as you adjust it, you would kind of think, okay, might be able to match them up somehow, but when you got the 3 side closes down to 2, it closes the other one down to 4, and you can close those off all together, and you got 2 on this side. And it just kind of, it was a little weird for me to have the asymmetrical airflow to find a proper airflow. I'm just used to setting up symmetrical airflow. I think the best I found was the 3 on the one side and then 1 on the other. I think that's what I've been vaping. Let me try it real quick. Yeah, that was about right where I've been keeping it, the 3 and 1. I like the tightness of it. I'm not big on the mouth to lung, but I do know about what feels right as far as how they vape, especially from what I remember using mouth to lung on like the old Nautilus and the Pro tanks and stuff like that. I never really did a whole bunch of RTAs beforehand that were mouth to lung, some of the early rebuildable tanks. So this is kind of newer to me. I've been used to the sub-ohm RTAs, sub-ohm tanks, RDA, stuff like that. So getting into the mouth to lung builds is kind of new waters for me still. I'm on maybe a year I've been doing mouth to lung builds, and this made it real easy because, like I said, the coil came included, a 1.2, or it's saying 1.263, so basically a 1.3. So let's go ahead and pop her open real quick and just check out the way that build deck looks in there. Alright, so it's a single coil build. It has 2 screws on either side for your positive and your negative post. And then basically what you're doing is you're going to trap your wire lead under that screw and then tighten the screw, and now it's going to pinch it down. So this kind of goes back to some of the older ways with some of the original RDAs and stuff, where you're trapping your lead under a screw. It wasn't necessarily a post hole and stuff like that. So it's almost like a hybrid between that type and some of the newer plate designs, because the screw sits into a little channel almost. You put your wire on there, and when you bring the screw down, it kind of acts as the plate itself. And then single coil, the airflow comes directly under that coil there, so I got it squatted just centered over that hole. And then you just tuck your cotton in either side. There's little holes that go down to the bottom section, little bottom basin within the tank. So it's real nice and easy to wick it, and then it wicks efficiently when you pour your liquid in there. Let's get that back together. We'll show you the way the top fill works. The top fill is just a standard screwing top fill. Comes off like so. One cool thing I liked about the way one thing I like the way the top fill looks is just the lining. Kind of reminds me of a rose, where everything's kind of angled in and out, similar to like if you've ever drawn roses and stuff, how the petals kind of interweave with each other. They kind of gave that same look to it to give the rose name to the RTA. See if I can get the top off without getting that bottom loose again. There we go. Everything's still kind of tight. It's still relatively new. All right, so the top actually has 6 large holes instead of your slots like you get on a lot of top fills. And I think that kind of helps out if you're using like a glass dropper bottle or something like that. You can get that in there and not have to worry about plugging up your top fill and causing a vacuum. You got plenty of area for the air to escape as you're filling your tank. And then the whole top here is actually like a gasket seal to help seal everything against that top. There's no O-rings or anything. It's like a big rubber or silicone piece there that just acts as a gasket. Alright, this is 510 drip tip. It does include the one real tight drip tip on there. Let's get her back together real quick and I get everything out the box. Alright, so in the box you get your replacement glass. I'll give you another drip tip, just a different shape to it. Looks like it might be a little more wide open on the inside, but I did change the shape up a little bit. You can see that. Instead of a straight shot with a little bit of a taper at the bottom, it's kind of the tapered concave look to it. And then they give you a little baggie with some Japanese cotton. You get another contact pin for it. You get extra screws for your build deck. You get 3 coils with it. Like I said, I already pre-installed the one, but you do get 3 of them to work with. An Allen adjustment tool, and then bunches of O-rings. There's several O-rings for your top cap and your base and stuff like that they do include for you. Alright, so I have a couple vapes off of it real quick. Like I said, 15 watts, roughly a 1.3. See, I had the airflow open a little further than I normally like. And I do say I like the flavor off of this. I'm not a huge fan, as I've said numerous times, about the mouth to lung, but this has probably been one of the nicer mouth to lung experiences I've had. The asymmetrical airflow is kind of weird to get used to, but once I figured out what I liked as far as how it worked, it was working out really nicely for me. And at juice capacity, 3.5 mils running only 15 watts, that's going to last you a while on the juice capacity. So that's a good plus for this tank here. I'm not sure if we'll be picking these up. I know this was just a sample that came into us from the manufacturer. But just be on the lookout for in case these do show up on our website in the near future. If you have any questions about the Rose MTL from Fumytech, please leave them in the comments below. As always, I'm Dave with My Freedom Smokes, and thank you for vaping.